Hey guys, welcome back to a new video tutorial. So today we're going to be messing around in Kali Linux again. I've done plenty of videos on Kali Linux before. Kali Linux is the pen testing and security operating system developed by Offensive Security, who are responsible for our backtrack and exploit database and all that kind of stuff. So this video will not be covering how to install Hydra on any operating system or how to download Kali Linux or anything like that, because I've done videos on that before. Hydra GTK is a very popular brute forcing tool, and it's been suggested many times that I cover it in a video. So Hydra GTK does come pre-installed on Kali Linux, so there's no downloading needed, and we're going to be dabbling with both the Hydra console version and also the Hydra GUI version, and we're going to be doing some basic brute forcing on FTP and SSH, which is a very popular method of brute forcing. We're not going to be doing HTTP because I've already done a HTTP one, and you can see that by clicking on the link in the description. So to start off, we're going to be just open up a terminal, and I'm going to show you the Hydra settings. So when you open up the terminal, just type in Hydra, and the settings for the Hydra program will actually display. So you can see that I'm using Hydra version 7.6. So at the bottom here we have all the different parameters here under options. We've got different types of options we can use. Now I'm going to just give you a basic run through and explain the different parameters in this simple example that they give us here. So when you start off using the Hydra program, you will need to identify that you are using the Hydra program, of course, by typing Hydra. And then you will put the first parameter in, which is the login. So -L stands for login, and that can either be uppercase or lowercase. However, they do mean different things. So if the L is lowercase in this example, then the Hydra program will take user to be the username. However, if the L is uppercase, then it will expect a file path to be put in there, so you can have lots of different usernames in that file path, and that is what it will use as its login. So basically you will have a word list for the login usernames, and that is what Hydra will expect. And you can see that here with -P, which stands for password. So the P is actually uppercase, which means it is a file directory. So inside of passlist.txt is a bunch of different passwords that Hydra can interpret and use to log in. If the P is lowercase, exactly the same as login, it will expect just one password, so you can brute force with just one password. And then we've got the actual service here, so you can see that the service is FTP, and then the IP address of that service, and that will brute force it using the username user and the passwords found in passlist.txt. So on the whole, it's actually quite simple to use in a very basic understanding. However, this can get more complicated when you start bringing in other things. So to start this video off, we're actually going to just be using the Hydra console, the Hydra GUI version, sorry. So you can access that by going to applications, going down to Kali Linux, going across to password attacks, going across onto online attacks, and then clicking on the Hydra GTK. When you open up X Hydra here, you will be greeted with this GUI here, and it will actually give you the command line that it's going to be using, so you can see for learning, for when you want to learn how to use the console. So we're going to be doing a basic SSH attack on my Raspberry Pi, which is located at 192.168.0.20, and the username and password is the default username and password, so that is what I have online at the moment. We're also going to do a FileZilla attack, which I will brute force an FTP. So these are very basic attacks. I want to get that out. So we'll set up our actual attack here, so we can see the single target or a target list, so we can identify the target list by just putting in another directory. Will have lots of different IP addresses. So here I'm going to just fill in 192.168.0.20, which is the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. So the port I'm just going to keep as 0 because it'll figure it out itself, because it's a default port. The protocol, we will select SSH for this example, because that is what we are going to be brute forcing. So we'll go down to SSH, and then here we have some output options that we're just going to leave blank. We'll then go across to passwords, and we'll use the username Pi, because that is the default username for the Raspberry Pi, and we're going to use a password list, and I'm going to load up my word list, which you can, if you want the word list, it will be available in the description. It's just a very simple word list that I found from the top 10 worst passwords in the internet. Okay, so here we can actually have use colon separated files, which means that it was a combo list, so the password and the username are on the same line, and we can try login as password and try empty passwords as well, which will Kali Linux, Hydra will use them as well. On the tuning thing, we will have number of tasks, so that's how many threads it will use to launch this attack. And we also have the HTTP proxies for things that lock out after so many failed attempts. We also have on here specifics that we're not going to worry about for this video, and then we have start, which will show the output. So this is the command line that we have here for our attack on the target. You can see here that it has actually put in a single target because we forgot to select it, and we're going to go across again, and you can see that the target is now set. I'm going to press start, and we're going to let this do the brute force. So you can see that it didn't take very long at all for it to find the login here. So you can see the login is Pi and the password was Raspberry, and Raspberry was actually in the word list because that's what how a word list works. So there we go, we have launched a successful attack against our FTP server, so we can easily now just use sh 192.168.0.20 and log in. So if I just put in the password here, you can see that we've been able to log in. So we're logged in as Pi, and we're on from the IP address 192.168.0.17, which is the IP address of this Kali Linux box. So now what we need to do is launch another attack against a different protocol. So what I'm going to do here is launch FileZilla server, which I can't remember where I installed it. So the service I wanted to use for the FTP service isn't working, so that is a downer. But in this case, all we'd have to do is set the FTP protocol and then tune the rest to beat the target. So now we can launch an actual console attack on this using our actual command line. So I can show you what that will look like. So if you opened up the console and typed in Hydra -login as the Pi, and then -uppercase P for the actual word list, which is located at this directory. And then we're going to do -e ns-t for the threads, so we're going to use 16, and then the IP address of the machine we're going to try and break into, and then SSH on the end of that. So this -e ns is what we set up here, so we could try to log in as empty and try an empty password and all that kind of jazz. So this is what the attack will look like if you launch it from a console. It will look like this, which is similar to what you get on this bit, however it is in a terminal instead of on a program. So you can see it's logged in there, we've got some nice green text to let us know that we have successfully broken into that machine. Now, whenever you start a new, you can save the output here, obviously, and you can save what the usernames will start off with. So if I start this again, you can see that it actually it will start off with the restore file if you stop the brute force halfway through. So you can see this creates a hydra.restore file. Now this will take a while to remove itself because it times itself out in 10 seconds before it removes it. So that means you can pause brute forces in between attacks, so you know you can restart the machine or whatever you need to do, and you won't lose where you were. So that's basically it for this very short video tutorial on brute forcing using Hydra. You can tailor it to how you need to use it. You can look at the video below on HTTP brute force I did with the burp suite, and there's going to be some more Hydra video, some more Kali Linux videos coming shortly. So thank you much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Share it with someone who you think will enjoy it, and more importantly, I shall see you again in the next one.